At ChurchTrac, we know how time-consuming it can be to manage the church's accounting. And if you're doing this in your spare time as a volunteer, you don't have the luxury of time to spend hours a week to do this. So wouldn't you love to automate as much of this job as possible? You can with your ChurchTrac account. By spending a few minutes of your time now, you can save yourself hours of work in the future. To begin, you have to sync your bank account with ChurchTrac. I won't cover how to do that in this video because we already have a video about that on our YouTube channel, and we have an article in our user guide that covers that in detail. I'll link to both of them below. Definitely check those out. However, after you activate Bank Sync, it's still up to you to manually update each transaction the bank sends to your account. This whole process can be completely automated thanks to import rules. In the import screen, select the Actions button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Then select Manage Import Rules. Now this screen allows you to create a rule that will automatically apply to a transaction that meets whatever criteria you set. To add a new rule, just select the Add Rule button in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and then give this rule a name just so that it's easy for you to understand its purpose. Let's say I want to automate the process of the bank sending the utility bill to this account, and then the system will update that transaction for me so that I don't have to manually do that myself. So I'll name this electric bill. And then I can choose which account I want this rule to apply to. I can actually have this rule apply to multiple accounts at the same time. So I'll select checking and savings. And then I'll set the criteria that this transaction has to meet in order for this rule to apply. So I'll say that the payee contains, and then I'll enter whatever the bank typically adds to the transaction whenever it's imported from the bank itself. A lot of times when banks send a transaction to your ChurchTrac account, it'll have a random string of letters and numbers, which makes sense to the bank system, but not to you. So if I have a copy of the statement in front of me, I can copy that here into this value. So let's say that the utility company sends a string of letters that has just a random series of letters and numbers, so I'll type that in. And then from there, I can then say I want this transaction that has those characters, say that it will change the payee name to the name of the utility company itself. I'll put in JEA because that's a utility company that's popular around here in my area. So whenever the bank sends a transaction with that random series of letters and numbers, our system will clean that up and have just JEA in for the payee. Then I'll say I want this transaction to have the category I've already created for the utility bills, for the electric bill, and then I'll set the fund to pull from the general fund. I can also add a tag and a note to this transaction if I needed to. Once I'm done, I'll select the Add Rule button. By creating these rules, you can save yourself hours of time in the future because the system will take care of several steps for you. That's how you can automate your church's accounting and expense tracking. If you need help, send us a support ticket or visit churchtrac.com/support.